Yo, what's good, everybody? Brent here. Hope everybody's having a fucking amazing day, week so far. Um, I know I am. It is fucking 11:30 here in California, where I'm at. Pretty slow last few days in prices, but a lot of shit going on in crypto. I'm gonna talk about when the fuck Bitcoin is gonna hit 150K, if we're gonna chop this summer or move higher to end the year. Talk about capital or crypto capital or I'm sorry, creator capital markets. Big topic right now. Whether talk about whether I think it could be the future of streaming in general, or if it's just kind of a short term fad. Um, Go over some potential coins that I think could actually make a big run if this narrative does take off. And I want to hear from you guys as well. Today, I want to look at Pump.Fun, the streaming side. There's a lot of cool stuff going on there. I'm not too sure how I feel about personally streaming on Pump.Fun. I kind of like doing the Twitter thing. I think Twitter is going to be where not only is just going to continue to be a huge app, but I really believe in their vision of like the everything app, where I think streaming is going to get bigger on there. Social live shopping. I think the app in general is just a place I really want to continue to build a following and continue to build a stream on. But interesting. We'll look at Pump.Fun. We'll talk about Pump Token and why I think it could definitely go above 10 billion if we get some good meme conditions. And then a lot of other good stuff. Going to definitely do a Q&A. Be looking at the chat like always. So let me know. I like to see where everybody's at in the world. I know we have a lot of people, obviously in the US, a lot of people from all over, but let me know where you guys are at. See a lot of people boss man calls from the channel. Shout out to everybody in there. What's up, Carl? Appreciate you for being in here, brother. Appreciate you. What's up, Juicy? But yeah, always appreciate fucking everybody, seeing new faces, regulars. I know, especially since I've literally just been like voice, like no visual, like anything yet. I am gonna do the full cam and all that here soon. But fucking love everybody in here. And no, during times like this, it's real fucking quiet. But just gonna continue on, do these streams during the exciting times, the quiet times, everything. But we'll go ahead and look at Bitcoin here in a second. Ayush, what's up, Ayush? What's up, Black and White? What's up, Soul Man? What's up, Crypto Carl? From Germany. Okay. Haven't seen too many people in here from Germany. That's what's up. California. Okay. What's up, Brennan? Chat. What's up, Meta X? But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with Bitcoin. So yeah, to me, I think it's really just simple. Whether we go down to 100 and below 197K, whether we stop here or not, just generally on the higher time frames, Bitcoin's in an obvious corrective structure that looks very similar to June. And then also the one in the beginning of the year, but on a smaller scale, where Bitcoin came down, retested the all-time high, came down for one more low, chopped for a bit, and then headed higher, right? I think that's pretty much exactly what's going to happen here. Just depends on what time frame that plays out on, right? One of two things is going to happen here. I think there's a case for the bottom already being in. Again, higher time frames, very corrective in nature, with these bounces and choppy move down in the last few weeks. Whereas, real quickly, like if we were to be looking at like a more of a top, like a bear market or bull market top, I'd be more worried is if Bitcoin looked more like this in the last bear market, bull market top, where it came down from 67K to 35 with almost no bounces. To me, that is very impulsive. That is the move you obviously don't want to be caught in. You don't want to be full ported into memes or whatever during a time where Bitcoin's going straight down there. That's more indicative of a bigger, longer term bear market move. Whereas the corrections that we've seen so far since 2022, but especially the one we're looking at now, instead of topping out and Bitcoin going straight down in this impulsive manner, it's coming down, bouncing up, and then chopping down overall in this kind of choppy corrective structure which to me, time and time again, you can look at this yourself. Every time it comes down in these kind of coil up type structures, it eventually bottoms out and heads back up. And what this means for everybody, even if you aren't holding any Bitcoin, is again, time and time again, you look at this every time Bitcoin goes into any type of correction, especially these longer ones, memes and alts come down 50 to 90%, and the overall DEX volume on Pump Fund, all that good stuff, drops drastically, right? But just like we saw in 2024, in 2023, in the first correction in 2022, every time Bitcoin comes out of these for weeks at a time, usually we hit a huge resurgence in memes, huge resurgence in pump fund volume, just a huge resurgence in conditions, sentiment, all that stuff. Again, driven by what Bitcoin and the majors do, especially ETH now that it's moving to. So my bet and kind of how I'm positioning myself is that we're going to see that same kind of thing happen again. This isn't an accident. Like, this isn't a coincidence. Bitcoin and what it does, the majors drive everything else. And I don't think this is going to be any different this time. And again, we got every time Bitcoin moves out of this, for example, when Bitcoin moved out of this correction this time last year, coins like MOG, SPX, Giga, a lot of the Fartcoin, a lot of the good coins at the time went up 7 to 10x. And that was only in a 3-month period. What I think is possible is this time Bitcoin doesn't stop for 3 months, but because we are where we're at in the seasonality, like a strong time in the market in the fall into the beginning of the winter, with everything else going on, I think we may, get a more follow through from Bitcoin this time. So if we were to get, let's say, 6 to 8 months of upside in Bitcoin in the majors, with all this institutional stuff that's happened, the regulatory clarity that's come in since Bitcoin corrected in January, I think it could lead to even more of follow through. So let's just say Bitcoin went up for 6 to 8, 9 months plus without seeing a major correction. What do you think that would do for memes, alts, all of that good stuff? I think it could go a lot higher than people expect. So yeah, that's how I see it playing out. I think obviously Bitcoin, there's a case to be made that it's bottomed out here, with the lower time frames being a potential inverse head and shoulders, where a lot of times when these Bitcoin bottoms or peak lows, which are essentially bottoms, they usually either manifest in double bottoms where I'll show you an example. Something like this, where everybody knows what a double bottom is, right? Where it makes a low, comes back, consolidates, tests that low one more time, and goes up. Or the most other common bottom or peak-like structure we'll see is the inverse head and shoulders, where you'll get a shoulder, some consolidation, one dip to trap people, a move up, and then consolidation before finally making that big move up. Definitely potential that happens here. For me, either way, the bigger kind of final confirmation for me, the final confirmation is a close above the all-time high, right? But I think usually what a high percentage confirmation is a close or a couple daily closes above the prior bounce high, which would be at 117. So if we were able to close above 118, I think very quickly Bitcoin will go back to all-time high. But generally, I'm not overcomplicating it. I think in the coming weeks, whether Bitcoin chops sideways in September and October or not, I think we're moving much higher in the coming weeks, and very potentially about to enter one of the strongest periods that crypto's ever seen, potentially. I think people are really underestimating the role that the regulatory clarity is going to play. And, because all these big founders, celebrities, big companies, brands have kind of been discouraged to build in crypto. Imagine if one big brand launched the token, right? Because they can do that now without, or soon we'll be able to do that, have regulatory frame clarity to do that. Or a big IP like Pokemon or something drops in an NFT collection. Like you get where I'm going from that. Like the stuff that wouldn't be possible, like maybe 6 months, a year ago, something like that or a number of things like that could potentially happen to spark a huge wave here. So yeah, I think ETH is looking even more coiled up. Again, whether it comes down one more time to 4,000 or not, or this is the bottom, I think in the coming weeks, ETH's going way higher and probably continues to outpace Bitcoin. And I expect the treasury company narrative to continue to heat up. But yeah, generally, I think all the top 10 in crypto, I think is set to go up, even stuff like XRP. Um, Great coil up here. I think XRP, again, talk about this on the stream a lot, has both the institutional narrative and kind of a cult normie type, crowd where if and when I think it's inevitable that we do get at least some type of entrance from like the general public into crypto again. In that world with an institutional narrative plus those normie crowd, I think XRP is, has a really good shot to do X's from here too. But from Nigeria, Czech Republic, that's what's up. Missouri, if you know where that's at. Of course, I know where Missouri is, brother. Yeah, we'll look at chart. I'm sorry, Spark. But yeah, how could I forget as well the NFP data, the non-farm payrolls? We'll talk about that as well, and kind of how I deal with these news events and kind of how I see them. Rate cut is for sure now. Yeah, I expect a rate cut will probably happen in September. Hey, Brent, up? Why are these weird market pump and dumps? Again, usually we'll see a lot of chop and kind of, chop sideways, a lot of consolidation before, the bottom. But before I get into it, the other things, if you guys could like, retweet, comment, bookmark the stream, shoot me a follow. Always appreciated. Bren, you are a wizard. Whatever you said about the market is happening. Coins are going the same way. Watching your stream from last month and really appreciate your knowledge. Thanks, Misfit Hunter. I appreciate you being here. What's up, Richie? Asdac looks good here. Yeah, Asdac's where I'm seeing a lot of raids coming from. Let's go ahead and look at it real quick. To be fair, honestly, this does look like a pretty corrective in nature because of these bounces. Again, I don't know much about Asdac at all besides the raids. I see it pretty prevalent on my posts and from a lot of the USDUC guys, which I love USDUC, so I know a lot of those guys are on it. Then there's probably something there. But just overall chart wise, it's the only thing that I can really look at. It does look pretty corrective. Usually when these charts, just like I showed you on Bitcoin here a second ago, charts, again, the chart isn't everything. Like there could be a chart that looks quote unquote corrective, but the dev is just like a rugger or whatever it may be, the narrative, what the team, the community loses focus or loses attention, whatever it may be. There's a chart that could look corrective, but the other things don't check out, then it doesn't really matter. But what I like to do is, again, if the chart looks corrective in nature, meaning it's not just straight down 80% in one day, but the moves down are kind of choppy. There'll be moves down, choppiness, consolidation, and the moves are slower down in these kind of corrective like structures. Plus, there's a good narrative. It looks like a good movement. They're good at creating content, whatever the other little things are. That's what I really like to build thesis off of. Like, for example, we'll go back to here to Asdec in a second, but salary is one example of a coin to me, which if this thing gives you another opportunity, I would really consider looking at this. To me, it's like an early, kind of a newer coin from 2025, right? But has a lot of early signs of a strong movement behind it. Just a really, every time, the few times I posted about salary, these guys raid extremely hard, and it's definitely like genuine engagement, not botted. All these guys have the thing, the picture is their PFP. Super engaged. Just a lot of early signs that I've seen, and obviously stuff like Mog, which is obviously high aspirations, but like just in the early days when I first saw Mog in 2023, end of 2023, a lot of USDUC stuff like that, where the team and the community is really focused on like this bigger narrative or like a movement, not so much on price. The salary is an example of one of those coins that had a really nice kind of corrective structure, plus those other things with the community and all that shit checks out. That's when it's like a golden opportunity, really where I make my biggest really my kind of bread and butter, right? Is these coins not necessarily I'm super early on. I'm not somebody who snipes something within a few days even. I like to find great coins and kind of a lot of times waiting for their first correction. A lot of times you're able to get a lot of good opportunities. And that doesn't mean every coin's going to survive its first correction, but even the great coins like Salary, USDUC are going to have those corrections. And that's when I like to really strike. So yeah, I really like stuff like Salary, and Asdaq looks pretty good chart wise here. Appreciate the insight, Richie. What's up, Richie? How you doing? People are always over leveraged and are unable to survive the corrections, which is why people lose money. I was doing the same until I truly accepted the risk and used less leverage. 100%. Leverage is leverage is a great tool to kind of take advantage of, buying dips and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, even myself, I feel like I've had experience with leverage. Like I said, I started with Forex, which is just like is leverage trading in itself, and for doing that for almost 10 years now. And even I use no more than like 7x leverage. For me, I like to give myself a lot more room to kind of treat it more like swing trading versus trading the short term volatility, which some people are doing great at that, but I think it's a hard skill to get great at. Shout out to you for sharing the stream. What's up, Miss D? Shout out to Brendan Bossman. Uh, hey, Soul TA, do you think it will break below 200 short term TA? I've got a long on and don't want to get. Yeah, I feel you. Let's see. Look at Soul. So yeah, Soul, same kind of thing as ETH. It's going to do whatever ETH and Bitcoin do. It could potentially come down one more time, but on the higher time frames, this is just another coil up, just like this one, just like this one, just like this one. Obviously, Soul has been struggling to break this high since July. ETH has kind of stolen the show a little bit, but I think with the period we're about to enter, with institutional adoption strong, Soul ETFs coming, an influx of capital, I think just coming in general over the next 6 months and especially the next few years, that I think Sol and ETH are both going to do well. Short term, again, I think Sol is just going to follow whatever Bitcoin and ETH do. Either way, this chart wise is not indicative of a top at all. I think it's just another corrective coil up, and Sol moves higher in the next few months too. Do you still believe alt season will happen? Yeah, for sure. Alt season where like there's a lot of different niches running at one time. Yeah, I think that we eventually get a period like that. That's awesome, Brand. Not everyone can keep up with that though. Um, what are you referencing? Not everyone can keep up with what. Um, but damn, I thought your PFP is a Mabera. No, it kind of no. It is a pond. It's a pond 101 pond NFT from the artist at FWOG. I bought it like late last year. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna go and look as well as obviously World Liberty Fi been absolutely fucking nuts. Did anybody let me know in the chat? Anybody trade that? That was kind of a shit show price wise so far. But let me know before I get into it. What do you like? What do you guys think of World Liberty Fi? You think it's just fucking cooked? Justin Sun, obviously some fucking drama around that. Let me see here. Yeah, I know. Justin Sun, I think supposedly bought a lot of World Liberty Fi, probably got in the pre-sale. And I guess there's evidence that he was dumping from his wallet, and then um, the Trumps. Here, let's just go ahead and pull it up. This just came out right now, actually, but um, so essentially, what went down is that the Trumps, or at least the people behind World Liberty Fi, bought around. Well, first of all, Justin bought around 3 billion World Liberty Fi, investing about 45 million at the pre-sale. Obviously, it went crazy up from the pre-sale. I think I don't. Where did it? open at, what is that, 30x from the, where he invested. So what is that? Probably 1.5 billion. And he publicly promised on his X account they would not sell his tokens. And it looks like they're tracking something to him selling the tokens on an exchange. Justin denies it, but who knows? Lots of drama around that. Justin tends to be involved in a lot of these type of dramas and kind of, I don't know. Like I don't know what exactly happened. Who knows if he's dumping or not? But I think overall for World Liberty Fi, just same thing with Trump meme coin, right? Because of the Trump's connections. I know it's a little bit different with the Trump brothers, but if you look at the um, if you look at the website, I thought it was pretty interesting. You go to their founders. Who do you see as number one on the top is Trump himself. I don't think it was like this when they first. I think there was some kind of merger where Trump bought more of the ownership of it overall or whatever. But just having Trump up here, yes, prices are down right now with market conditions down. But you just got it comes down to Trump being a founder, at least a key owner of this thing, and the team again, including Trump and the Trump brothers, ability to create partnerships in both crypto and uh, outside of crypto to tweet and garner millions of views in a time where conditions where Bitcoin, ETH, Sol are going up, plus meme coins are also strong. I think these things really matter. And for that reason, I don't think you can count World Liberty Fi out, right? Whether you think it's like some cash grab from the Trumps or not, I think that's something separate. But if you're just talking about this coin and the prospects of it appreciating or going down over the next, whatever as a trade, I think World Liberty Fi. I think there's a strong case that World Liberty Fi um, is. I think there's a strong case for World Liberty Fi at least heading higher from here. Does it go down to all time highs and become this dominant, force? Who knows? There's this guy I like to follow. I forgot his name. And he talks, let's see if I can find him. He talks a lot about World Liberty Fi, and he's been pretty bullish on it. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of launch pads and stuff going around it. It's not just a coin. Again, I could just see with good conditions, this could potentially be a good trade from here. Is it the coin that I see like being the best risk reward bet? I think there's a bunch of other stuff that I kind of like to pour more into, but especially if it continues to consolidate for a while here, I wouldn't be surprised to see World Liberty Fi kind of make a move up. And again, I mean, if the Trumps really push hard with making partnerships and doing a lot of stuff that's going to bring a lot of attention around it, especially if a bunch of new people come into crypto, like I could see this being at least a good short term trade for a few months or something like that. So I'm keeping my eye on it. I mean, what do you guys think of World Liberty Fi? Is this like just a complete scam in your eyes, something you're staying away from, or do you kind of think that the Trumps will at least pump it in a strong crypto bull run? Yeah, what's good, Rojan? Yeah, I think the Trump coin obviously had a part in like kind of creating the top, but at the same time, I think it's just all about conditions. If meme coins kind of make a recovery, then I think Trump again, just a few tweets or whatever, just has a potential to again send it back higher. And you know whether that's an exciting trade for you or not, I get it, it's whatever. But World Liberty Fi, yeah, looks pretty decent. Something to keep an eye on. Pump token though, I'm actually Pump has been moving up, kind of outperforming everything else. I again had a long on here on Trump, got stopped out of break even, accumulated on the way down here. Put out a clip here this morning on Twitter, but I think just Pump token is just a no brainer because of the 98% buybacks they're doing. First and foremost, essentially, most of the fees are a high percentage of those fees that they're going to be getting from um, all the coins traded, all the volume is going to be put back right back into the Pump um, coin, right? So just like I said, meme conditions are just going to drive all of this. Bitcoin drives meme conditions. Bitcoin and ETH sold drive meme conditions, and meme conditions are going to drive pump because for all the volume, the more volume that comes in the pump fund um, platform, in the launchpad, the more it's going to be poured straight into the token. So again, with all the attention on it, plus the buybacks, I think pump was a great fucking buy a few weeks ago, and is still, I think, going to soar right through uh, probably 5 to 10 bill, at least 10 billion FDV pretty quickly here, and from there, I think the sky's the limit because of how early I think how meme coins are going to have a huge resurgence here. Uh, but but yeah, look, I'm gonna go ahead and look at pump.fun right now. Right, I've been looking. Obviously, I'm not a huge I don't trade a lot of new pump launches, just personally, just not my style, especially right now with how conditions are. But I really find the live streaming part of it pretty fucking interesting. I'm pretty open. You know, the long term of the creator capital markets are simply more so like just a tokenized streaming, where there's a token attached to the stream, which obviously is just a way to support the token. I'm sorry, support this creator with the volume, but also speculate on potentially the future of the streamer, and potentially get upside in the future. And there's still a lot of debate. A lot of people are saying, oh, maybe streamers that are big doesn't mean the token's going to go up. But I think it's just like anything, right? Everything's driven by attention. Just like when the Brewski coin, for example, which I know my boy Bossman cooked on. Um, this was more of a singular meme, right? It was based on more of a moment in time. And it's down a bit now, but obviously the chart, I'm sorry, the video went crazy, hundreds of millions of views on Twitter, which at least for a time led to the coin going crazy. I think with a constant stream of content coming from these streamers, the ones that actually get views, I think have the potential. I think the coin will eventually go up over time with the streamer, with the more attention on it and viral moments, all of that stuff. Obviously untested, but I could see a world where this becomes the norm someday, right? Where again, we could be way far off from that. It's going to take, I think, some streamers who aren't big streamers already kind of getting big and having a token that goes to 50 to 100 million, for it to really like catch on. But I could see a world where Twitter someday, or Twitch, or Kick probably be the first one if I had to guess, that gives at least the option to do this kind of thing. Doesn't make it necessarily like you have to create a coin to stream on there. But I could see it being an option because I think we're just going into a world where everything's going to be gamified. Everything's going to have an option to speculate on. All these apps are just going to make it easy for people to bet, gamble, speculate on. And I think speculating on streamers and stuff like that just makes sense. Or I could see a world where that could play out. Again, is that 100% going to play out? Am I so gung ho and convinced that that's how the world is going to be? No, I could also see a world where this fizzles out or has a huge bubble and never catches on as well. But I think there's a world where it makes sense where, whether it be directly through the stream itself or another platform, that there's a way that this could potentially become the future of streaming, right? But either way, in the short term, I really like the chances of this kind of creator capital markets kind of having a run here, just off of the back of kind of what's going on Twitter. But if a mid or even mid to high tier streamer came in and launched a token on Pump Fund, whether that be through Pump Fund paying them or just organically, I think it could launch a huge kind of meta, at least in the short term, potential bubble in the creator capital markets. And to me, in that world, I think the already existing plays like the Rasmers and which I think Rasmer's live right now, or at least he was earlier. Shout out to Rasmer. He's a super fucking consistent with the streaming. He's probably the most consistent person I've seen on the pump streaming. But
No, dude, I just
just
run
the
bots, so
already
I have
existing
no
runners
social
here,
media following
like
that.
the already existing people who already have the tokens, like the Rasmers that have been consolidating for a couple months. If and when like a big streamer comes in and comes on, or just the meta takes off in general, I think coins like Rasmer, Giat, which may be the biggest sleeper of them all, which is attached to this guy Frankie LaPena, who has millions of TikTok and Instagram followers. Uh, these coins that are already existing, I think, have a chance to really take off. So I've taken small positions in Rasmer, Giat, like I was saying, and then Gainsey Stream the other day, which I actually bought Gainsey Stream like literally hours before the whole debacle happened with Gainsey. For those of you guys who don't know, Gainsey, one of a crypto OG, been in the game before me, even I think probably 2015, 2014. Very very well known guy in the space. Started streaming on Pump Fun. I think he owned 70% of his supply. 70% of his supply, and supposedly somehow he fat fingered, meaning he sold the entire supply. Obviously in just hearing that surface level, you're gonna think, oh, that's suspicious, right? Maybe there's something going on there. Obviously, potentially could be, but Gainsey, like I said, been in the game for a while. I think he has like 8 or 9 figures confirmed, like on chain. So to sell off 200 for $200,000 logically doesn't make sense, right? Who knows? What exactly happened, but I think his story does make sense. Either way, I think there's a good shot just with Gainsey being one of the bigger streamers. Could make a good comeback, but I really like the chances of kind of the already existing runners to make a big move if and when we get a large kind of run here from the CCM kind of stuff. Again, definitely understand why some people might fade this narrative so far, because there's definitely limited options. Like I said, there's Gainsey, Rasmer, which are great. I think those guys are super entertaining and I like watching their shit. But I mean, obviously, they're pretty niche in the crypto community. So I understand why some people might fade this narrative. But for me, I think it's worth it to take small bets in case they do take off. I think the risk to reward's good here with them consolidating for a couple months, like on Rasmer. Still 50% off the highs. I think for like 50% downside for something that could be 5, 10, 20x upside if it gets really crazy, if it's a leader in a bigger meta, it's worth it to me. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of CCM in the chat. Do you guys think the it's the future of streaming in general, like the model? And let me know you think the existing CCM tokens. Do you think it's a fad that's just going to be here today and just gone? Do you think these coins are just going to bleed to zero? You think maybe I'm onto something here and these are going to go up? Let me know. What do you think? Which platform would dominate in the future? I think there's going to be multiple platforms that dominate, bro. I think there's going to be enough. Especially, I really like how Bags app is doing something different than, let's say, what is the other ones, like the Believe app, where they're focusing more on companies, and then Pump Fund's more of a meme coin thing, but they're also like a general launch pad. I think there's going to be an influx of people wanting to launch coins and trade crypto over the next however many years, and in that world, there's going to be plenty. There's going to need for plenty of these different launch pads, right? So I really like Pump though, what they're doing so far. What's up, Maverick? How you doing, man? What do you think about Luca acquiring OpenSea rumors? Right? Yeah, we heard a lot of that, and like there was a lot of stuff surrounding that, like Luca, or like let's see, Pudgy. A lot of stuff around that, but then um, one of the Igloo or Pudgy Penguins employees kind of denied the rumor. So I think from there it kind of died down, but obviously they're sparking back up again because OpenSea announced that the Penguins are like the official marketplace for Pudgy Penguins. Who knows what that means exactly? I don't think they've really elaborated. Potentially, maybe if OpenSea is doing the airdrop, Pudgies get who knows. But obviously, still a lot of speculation. Why did it just exit out? Sorry, let me share my screen again. A lot of speculation around that. Again, I would think it's probably less likely that they bought out, OpenSea. Probably not. But who the fuck knows? What happened to Bonk once it was dominating? Yeah, I don't know. Again, that was just like it was like a. I think just zooming out, yeah, I think there's going to be enough demand for Bonk.fun, Pump.fun, and a few of these other ones to really, dominate. So I don't really like to. I don't really pay attention to too much in the short term, like war. The what's it called? Launchpad wars. Do you have any opinions on Axel on Sui? I can look at that for you, brother. All right, that's not the right one. Axel on Sui. Oh, it's this one. 2 million. Okay, this is a really interesting chart. I don't know if this is like. Oh, I'm trying to find the one with liquidity. Yeah, I don't know. This is a really weird chart. Honestly, not enough information. Um, you'd have to send me the correct one because this chart looks fucked up. There's no. I assume this isn't it. If it is, there's not a lot of volume on it. This is probably something I'd avoid, and there's not enough. I really can't tell you too much from this. Bitcoin's consolidating. What is the next move? Yeah, let's go ahead and look at the majors real quick. So I think generally, just zooming out, I think in the coming weeks, everything chart wise is pointing to Bitcoin coiling up for another move higher in the coming weeks and months. Chart wise, you just look at every time Bitcoin's come down and corrected, it's been in these kind of coil up structures where whether it's a big one like we saw in January, where it comes back, retests the all time high, and then kind of chops down, goes sideways for a bit, and rips higher. Sell the same thing in June on a smaller scale. And I mean, this is just another variation on the theme here. Bitcoin came up, retested all time high, and then even more confluence here. And what has me so convinced or just has so much conviction and even the short and midterm here for Bitcoin is that since August, it's been chopping down and consolidating, showing what I like to call corrective behavior on the lower timeframes as well. So that's again lower timeframes, higher timeframes, both coming into confluence. Now, where does it go from here? Is it going to continue to chop down in this channel to the low 100K, potentially high 90s? Who knows? There's a case to be made that we're looking at an inverse head and shoulders from August 25th until now. If Bitcoin is able to hold this low here and break higher above the 113 and eventually 118, very quickly there, I think it will run back to all-time highs. But again, to answer your question, where's Bitcoin's next move from here? Short term, it's impossible to know ever. I think there's a good shot because what we're seeing the last few weeks on Bitcoin, kind of this consolidation being in what could be a inverse head and shoulders formation. If it's able to hold this low at 109 and break higher, very likely the bottom's in. We've seen the low. But either way, even if it doesn't and we go down one more time, I think we're very likely a lot closer to the bottom than we are the top. Like I think this is probably like where we're at here for like in equivalent to June. Like I think this is where we're at, right? Where Bitcoin's kind of coming out of this corrective channel, kind of consolidating above it, and it moves higher. But again, we also could be like right here where it comes down a little bit more, like violently wicks down a bit and then runs higher. I think generally to answer your question, short term, kind of up in the air, meaning the next few days, up in the air, obviously, like always. But in the coming weeks and especially months, I think Bitcoin rips way higher, which ignites another just a huge wave in everything else. I think it's just important to focus on Bitcoin, ETH, the majors. They just drive everything else. Like there's it's no coincidence that even the DEX pump fund volumes or the DEX volumes always are contracting when Bitcoin and ETH and Sol are also correcting. And when they run higher for multiple weeks and months, so too do the pump fund and DEX volumes and all that. That's why I don't like to overcomplicate the whole launch pad thing, because while there's definitely ways to play the arbitrage, and like meaning like the arbitrage of attention and all that, I think generally they're all gonna, the great ones, the few that dominate are all gonna do well, and the DEX volume is gonna go up once Bitcoin and ETH start to really start bouncing here. What about SPX? SPX is an amazing fucking position right here. These are always great opportunities when you're kind of like in a corrective period for Bitcoin and ETH, and a coin starts up. Damn it, why does it keep doing that? It's always a great position when Bitcoin and ETH are kind of still correcting or moving slowly, but a coin starts outperforming and then gives you a correction. That's usually a good opportunity to buy, because coins that do well tend to outperform. Um, Coins that do well during kind of down periods in the market tend to do very well when the rest of the market's ripping. So SPX, I think, is a 50% correction. I think this is as good a buy as any in meme coins, right? A lot of people see a billion and they automatically think, like, why the fuck would I buy that? What am I going to get a 2 or 3x off that? But I think a lot of people are missing is every time that there's a mania or a strong period for crypto in the past, the runners run, bro. Like the runners, meaning like the coins that dominated months before that, and the coins that have great movements, the ones that tend to be on the big exchanges, the ones that have momentum tend to have even more momentum. And I think there's a paradigm shift that's going to happen when SPX, Pengu, some of these other coins start to hit 5 billion. I think a lot of people aren't going to be thinking as a billion is like so low. I think we're entering a time where people are going to start buying higher cap coins. And I think the $1 billion coins, a lot of them are going to 10 billion plus. I know that sounds nuts, but again, you just got to look at when Bitcoin, ETH, SOL move higher for months, weeks and months at a time. The great memes also make price discovery. And I think the next phase of price discovery for a lot of these great memes, the SPX, the Gigas, Giga's a little down, but I think Giga's going to have a big bounce back. But I'm talking about the Pengus, the SPX, the Mogs that are closer to a billion already. I think a lot of them are going to hit 5 to 10 billion with haste when things really do start running. See me a gap above. Interesting. You a fan of FWOG? Yeah. Um, Another quick reset. If you guys could like, retweet, comment, bookmark the stream. Always appreciated. Do these streams at least right now twice a week, Tuesdays, Fridays. Like to hang out, talk about the way I see the markets, kind of what I'm doing. Obviously, quiet days right now, but I love to get on these streams and fucking hang out with you guys, regardless of what's going on. Hear what everybody else is up to. But yeah, it's FWOG though. Let's go and look at FWOG. Yeah, so put out a post in the Telegram. Go ahead and check that out. Let me go ahead and open that real quick, actually. Let's do Telegram. Where is it? Why is it not? That's weird. I have Telegram open. Why is it not letting? Let's just do the entire screen. Fuck it. All right. Telegram put out a post actually last night about FWOG. Definitely check out the Boss Man Calls Telegram channel if you haven't already. I post a lot of like the more in-depth, kind of bigger write-ups on these coins. USDC, Pengu, a few other coins this summer. Posted trade ideas. A lot of them before they 5 or 10x. Pengu posted before 10x. USDUC. So a lot of stuff going on in here. Despite the market being bad, we've able to share some trade ideas that have done well. Do streams in here sometimes, not really lately, but giveaways, tips and tricks, video tutorials, clips, all that good stuff from myself and my partner, my good buddy Boss Man. So definitely check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, FWOG, to answer your question, I like FWOG here, right? Obviously, it's a little bit more tricky, right, for FWOG because this is its first major correction, right? Like one of the biggest things that makes me bullish on a coin or something that really like I separate a coin from others is when it's survived multiple big corrections before and bounced back to new highs. Like Giga, for example, has done that 7 times in the last year and a half. When I see that, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is like has a holder base, has staying power, all that. So FWOG is a little bit trickier because, as you can see by the chart here, it had a big run up around this time last year from literally zero to $1 billion or almost like 800 million. And then this is its first big correction. But like I said, Giga, SPX, MOG, Pepe, ticker Bitcoin, any major meme coin, you name it, has been through one of these 80 or 90% corrections before. It's kind of a rite of passage, right? Not every coin survives it. Most of them don't. But the ones that separates the long-term coins from the rugs are the coins that can survive these corrections, the 90, 80, 90% corrections especially, and bounce back and be even stronger than before. Not only is that a momentum thing and the price obviously is a big deal, but what that means is that a lot of times why they're able to continue higher is when they come down here and bounce back. That means a lot of the existing holder base, the diamond handers, like the real strong community members, accumulated there. And those are the type of people that aren't selling at least heavily on the way up if it's a good community, which creates this like this effect where there's less sell pressure on the way up. Like when these coins correct, essentially, supply and coins go into the stronger handed uh, hands, which creates less sell pressure on the way up. That's why a lot of these coins are able to go bounce back from 100 million onto a billion and 2 billion, and that's why I'm so bullish on some of these coins that have already had these corrections, is because they're able to keep a higher floor every time they correct this big. But anyway, FWOG. The reason why I say that is because FWOG this is its first 90% correction. But with that being said, I think there's a lot of the other signs like I was talking about earlier, other than the chart, that are all checking out for me, right? Like just to kind of reiterate, like I think for me to like really have a thorough thesis on something, it includes for me a chart setup where it looks corrective or something that doesn't look like a complete rug, plus the other things in the background, which are good team, good supply distribution, good content, movement, all these different things. I think both of those things combined, chart plus fundamentals, make for a really good opportunity or really good opportunities. I think people focus on one or the other, just the chart or the other things. But yeah, FWOG has all the other things checked out for me. I think has consistent, intriguing, normie friendly, potentially normie friendly content with the FWOG art that they make. Gruwoot or what is on Twitter has been making waves, making art for Pumped Up Fun, for a lot of these other big companies, as well as got hired on as the creative art lead at Yuga Labs. So a lot of attention and connections there. And then another thing is they have an accompanying NFT collection, which is where my PFP is at. I think an NFT wave is going to come too. So I think having an NFT collection is obviously a positive thing as well. And then multiple months of consolidation, like I was showing you here. So yeah, I think FWOG, all the boxes outside the chart, check out. Obviously, the first 90% correction, it's not as much chart stuff to go off of. With that being said, I could definitely see FWOG and I think there's a really good shot that FWOG does make a huge resurgence here. And I've been accumulating over the last few months. So, oh, what's up? We got is it a comment in there? Let me see. Does it show? Let's see. I'm just talking to my producer. It looks like we got a comment from YouTube. Shout out to the YouTube viewer. I'll take the shot if you guys are on YouTube. Obviously, most people are. Check me out at Bren Trades. Not as much long form content really at all on there yet. Working on that, but I got clips. Our streams are on there, streaming to there as well. So definitely check me out on there. Where's the YouTube comment? Oh, how are you? What's up, Gendar? Um, Let me know. Are you a meme coin guy? What are you trading? lately? What are your thoughts on crypto? Definitely check us out on Twitter. That's where we do most of the streams. But appreciate you being in the chat there on YouTube. Um, what do I think about Cope? We'll look at Cope here. Interesting. Yeah. Am I not sharing my screen again? Oh, yeah. Let's switch the screen. Somebody asked about Cope. Crazy story around that, right? I guess a Cope was a coin that was created months ago, but they like sent coins to Mitch and then he dumped them. And then all of a sudden, there was a big pump on the coin after that. Here, hold on. I got to shut some stuff down. But give me 1 second here. I need to shut some windows here. Okay. Um, sorry, but yeah, Cope. I guess somebody they sent tokens to Mitch, and then he sold them, which kind of created a narrative for the coin, and I think it got sent, if I'm not mistaken. What do I think about it right now, though? Is this it? Yeah, I don't know. If this is the one, then if this is the one, then I don't know. These are tough because it's a big correction here. It could either bottom out here and go higher if it's like a has a more of a longer term community, all that, or it could bleed to zero. Like I'd have to know more about everything else going on. The chart is more just kind of 50-50 with how deep this correction is. Best case scenario is it forms a double bottom here and then just moves higher if it has like a real long lasting kind of narrative and community. XLM. Yeah, no, I didn't catch that one, but yeah, I did see Boss talk about that. Always miss these. Glad I could make this. Shout out to you, John. Shout out to you, brother. Where you at? Where you at in the world, bro? I heard people wallet getting drained. Do you have any idea why? Not sure what people's wallets getting drained all the time. Unfortunately, I'm not sure which drainings you're referring to, but GM Brand always keeping the bull vibe strong and focusing on a longer term vision in the space. One of our favorite crypto whales. Hey, I appreciate you, Beluga. Shout out to Beluga. Like I've talked about him a few times on stream. Love what they got going on. And then the guy behind the account, great guy as well. I love everything they got going on. But yeah, it may just seem like I'm a fucking permabull sometimes that I'm just like being bullish for the sake of being bullish, but I'm just like it's just so blatantly obvious that it's no better time than ever to be bullish on great crypto assets. Not only in the long term, obviously, I think most of us agree that Bitcoin and ETH and Sol have very likely reached the point of no return, where I think these assets are being accepted by assets in blockchain technology are being accepted and adopted by traditional finance. But even in the short term, it's just like with the regulatory clarity happening, these meme coins in great, these obvious corrections for 6 months at a time. Um, all these different indications kind of leading and pointing to a big short term bounce as well. That I think right now is just the most obvious time to be bullish on crypto in the short term and long term, right? There will come a time where prices, a lot of these meme coins, like I said, are at 5 to 10 billion market cap. Bitcoin has run for 6 or 7 months at a time. NFTs are up. Everybody's euphoric. Everybody's writing threads about how we're going to go up only for another 2 years. It's the super cycle, all that different stuff. That at that time, I will definitely be not just be a boltard, like just saying, "Oh, we're going up only forever." I'll definitely be cautioning and talking about how I'll definitely be taking a lot of profits by that time, at least on the memes and alts. And at that time, I definitely be more cautioning, more to taking profits. So yeah, definitely am not just trying to be a bull just to be the sake of being a bull. I think all the signs. I just don't get the bear case right now. Really, I think a lot of the bear case for people, unfortunately, is a personal thing where a lot of people want it to be the top subconsciously or consciously because they either had a lot of their coins in the AI stuff that went to zero, or they got tricked into the fear, fed into the fear of the tariff war and sold everything at the bottom. But again, like I've said on these tweets recently, from just the tops that I've seen, the tops in the euphoric cycles I've studied in the stock market and stuff, just generally, obviously not all the time, but generally, the sentiment at the top amongst consensus, amongst the crowd, which obviously is hard to gauge at times, but just the overall senses amongst is not super is not super bearish. It's super euphoric. Like if we were actually at the top right now and we were coming down, uh, I think there's going to be a lot of people who are still super euphoric. We're seeing the opposite right now. So, yeah, I just don't get the bear case even in the short term. And I'm bullish again, not just to be a bull, but just because I think it's so fucking obvious that not only crypto but a lot of these NFTs and stuff are gonna run into the next couple months. What's up, Dangy? Wow, what streams on YouTube? Never knew. Oh, what's up, Adida? Oh, you're hopped on the YouTube too. Shout out to you, man. Giga 10x from all time highs is rated in the highest buying power on Coinbase. Is that right? I didn't know that about the buying power, but I'm not surprised. I think from what I understand, the Giga guys, like there's a lot of onboarding or whatever you want to call it, like a lot of normies that aren't on crypto Twitter who have bought Giga. So I think Giga is another one where, yeah, it's fallen 90%, but it's survived so many of these crashes in the past. Like, let me go ahead and show you guys. Giga Giga, obviously, this is the biggest correction it's ever had. But since January 2024, it's gone through one, two, three, four, five, 70 plus percent corrections in the past. With Giga has obviously a meme itself is very popular, a movement type coin. They have a fitness company in Giga Fitness. I think stuff like that. Giga is great right now. Gendar from YouTube asking a question. Sorry, don't have X. I'm starting my journey with trading. Just wanted to listen about coins because really I don't know much about them, and I like more the S&P 500, indexes. Hell yeah, that's what's up, brother. I'm glad you were able to find us or find me organically. I assume through YouTube. I'm stoked on that, but that's awesome. That's an interesting perspective. So when you say you're trading S&P 500 and then the NQ, I know that's really popular nowadays. I know a lot of Forex people kind of went towards that. Are you trading options? Are you buying spot? Probably some kind of options, right? But first of all, welcome to crypto, man, and welcome to the streams. Again, I would suggest maybe making a Twitter account because there's a lot of great info on there. Um, but I think you're entering crypto in a great time, brother. I think not only short term, I think there's going to be a big wave into the end of the year and potentially into 2026. But long term, I think digital assets is going to be the place to be for trading, for investing. It's just like overall, there's a lot of attention and volume and everything coming to the space. So definitely, if you love the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 stuff, dude, keep doing that. I still trade Forex, which I started with occasionally, but dude, definitely dive into crypto. That's stoked that you're diving in. I would just first start learning about Bitcoin, ETH. Honestly, a lot of the Wall Street guys, which you'll probably figure into the equity side of stuff, are really big on blockchain and integrating obviously tokenization and pretty much putting the traditional finance system on chain. A lot of that's going through Ethereum. So definitely read a lot about that. And then from there, for myself, I'm really big on the movement meme coin space, where not necessarily singular memes, but like meme coins with big movements behind it that are kind of like some of these bigger coins you probably heard of in the past, the ADAs, the which is Cardano's XRP, where they have like these really cult-like communities. There's a lot of meme coins like that have been around for a few years that I'm super bullish on. So, I mean, first of all, dude, just welcome. I mean, if you get a Twitter, definitely shoot me a follow or shoot me a DM, and I'll shoot you a follow back. Maybe shoot you some good pages to look at. But I would just say you're in a great place, great time, great place, great people, or great, great, great people on Twitter and stuff like spaces like this and streams like this. So, shout out to you for being on, bro. Was there any question in there? I'm starting my journey with trading. I just want to listen. Hell yeah. Let me know if you have any more direct questions in the chat. By the way, I'm from Poland. Damn, Poland. That's what's up. Damn, looking on both. Appreciate you. What about GOAT? Yeah. So, I mean, I think overall goat has this like kind of provenance story where it's like the first AI meme coin that was kind of really organic. But I guess the last few months, there's been something going on with the guy Andre or whatever kind of selling off the goat. I'm not sure exactly what's going on from there. But overall, the chart looks decent. I think there's an opportunity for goat to run long term, potentially because it's the first AI type of meme coin that an AI agent or whatever, an AI chatbot, which was what's it called? Terminal of Truth or whatever, kind of created or came up with the idea of GOAT itself, which is like the first coin. You can't really recreate that. I think it has a potential to run off of that narrative alone, but I'm not sure. It'll be interesting to see what this does. I'm not really sure what the AI agent meme coin space, like the ones that really got hot. Obviously not Zero Bros kind of dead, but like those type of coins, the Zero Bros, the what are some of the other ones, dude? The AI 16Zs, Uh, what, dude? I haven't looked at. What about AI XBT, bro? I haven't looked at that one in a fucking minute. 102 million. It's pretty fucking impressive. This is still holding 100 million market cap. Um, yeah, I don't know. Another weird chart that I think it could go either way. Looks really similar actually to Goat. So I don't know. I don't really have strong opinions on this. If we get a really strong bull market, usually most stuff has some type of bounce back, but it's really not a space that I have a real strong conviction in right now. Beluga isn't wrong, and you know what you're talking about are willing to share it publicly. Hell yeah, bro. Shout out to you. Thank you. Do you normally trade? What's up? Fuck yeah, four viewers on YouTube. Do you normally trade new memes, or do you only stick to the strong memes? That's a great question. So when conditions are good and like the market's fucking full blown like bull mode, a lot of time I will I'll dabble in it sometimes, right? I'm not the type where my style of trading is sitting on pump fun and trading 10 trades on pump fun a day. Right now it's zero. I'm just not touching it. I just have no edge in the market. I don't feel like unless you're Cupsy or one of these guys that are just like dominant, it's hard right now. So to answer your question, I'll dabble a bit when market conditions are good, but overall you kind of nailed it. I'm more of a buy and hold swing position type of trader. I feel like that's where more of my edge is at, but there's a lot of guys that do really well in the pump fund space. Aloha, Bren. Always love your streams. Shout out to you, brother. 808. Do you recommend any BSC coins right now? To be honest, I don't have any BSC coins that I would recommend. I could see BSC having a quick bounce back or like a big bounce back, but the chain itself in the meme coin space, but I don't have any that I'm holding. He said, yeah, to be more specific, I'm really starting. I saw maybe like 2 to 3 videos, which is 4 to 5 long. Right on, bro. Yeah, like I said, I think what a lot of people aren't doing nowadays, like a lot of these guys that are coming in from the pump fund side, aren't really learning the history of like Bitcoin, ETH, and everything about crypto. And I know a lot of people that might be corny. They're like, dude, I'm trading fucking 10K shitters. What do I need to know about the history of Bitcoin for? But I think it helps you really understand and have conviction in the industry, um, and just like really have more conviction, higher conviction in not only Bitcoin. Because like I said, Bitcoin drives all this shit. There's no way in hell that, I mean, I don't know. I guess there's a world where Bitcoin trends down from here and pump funds still like a gambling type of place. But like I think in order for pump fund to really like become massive, and these other, for there to be a lot of opportunity and stuff to trade on that side, Bitcoin and the overall crypto majors have to be healthy at least, right? So, yeah, like I said, learn about the history of Bitcoin, ETH, sold, the cycles. Learn about definitely check out my Telegram page, like I was talking about earlier. We do a lot of tips and tricks for newer people and stuff too. So Gendar, okay. Yeah, what he said too. There's going to be a lot of bots and shit. Coin was on ETH, White Rocks. Do you know what coin? It was Easy 8x. Yeah, I didn't know too much about that one. What's good, Sing? Yeah, Bitcoin's the base of all the coins. Yeah, absolutely. Bitcoin's like like the S&P 500 or like the indexes. It's it's something you kind of like want to understand the general, like the overall market, right? Let's look at what the fuck's going on Twitter right now. Let's see. Anything else major going on today? Oh, obviously Stripe, which obviously is a huge payment processor. Might have been the biggest, these consumer payment processor. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. They just pulled back the curtain. So they're making their own blockchain called Tempo. There's a lot of controversy around this right now. A lot of people like it. They say it's such the future. A lot of people think that Tempo is going to eventually be an ETH L2. I don't know. Either way, I like this guy. Tyler did it with him and why the him and what the fuck? How do I? Where is he at? But anyway, FOMO hour with Tyler and Farouk. This guy Tyler was talking about. Is it named Tyler or is it something else? I'm completely blanking. But anyway, he was talking about on stream today. Yeah, it is Tyler. They were talking about on stream today that he thinks that even if the Stripe blockchain continues to be an L1, it might not be positive. It might not be bullish in like the directly for your ETH bags or your Solana bags. But overall, a Stripe blockchain is going to bring more people into crypto and blockchain and just grow the overall pie and the overall like what's it called? Overall adoption of crypto. So I think it's just another fucking positive sign, another thing pointing to just another strong period going into 2026. More attention to crypto, more positive light on crypto is just good for the conditions of the market in general over a longer term. I think I should go back to X. I only use this YouTube account for studies. What do you think about employment rate news? Will it affect the bull run? It's a great question. So all the different news on day to day obviously is gonna affect the market. Somebody was asking me about that earlier. I think that's why poly market's actually a good thing to look at recently. Why is poly market not opening? Is poly market down? I don't know. It's not opening. But a lot of these news events are going to be based on Tyler did it. Yeah. Okay. It's an underscore. A lot of these news events are going to be not so much based on the results of what happened, but what the expectations were before the event, and then what happens if the result is a lot different than what people expected. Usually, you'll get a move up or down. But overall, I'm very bullish on crypto, especially, but even broader risk asset markets. I think the rate cuts and the QE are not. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not. Uh, the 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 rate cuts and the overall rate cuts, potential QE, all that stuff, I think is going to be neutral for the market. I think it's going to be bullish and add uh, fuel to the fire, but I don't think it's priced in. I think a lot of times when you see in history, rate cuts have equaled a big move down and kind of created the top. But that's because that's usually when the market or the economy is also um, collapsing and there's shitty market conditions for the economy. But if you look at the economy, they're not cutting rates because the economy is showing signs of slowing. It's because they're getting closer to their inflation targets, right? So I think this time could be different with the rate cuts. And instead of it creating a top like it has in the past, it acts as neutral to actually bullish for the markets if they start printing money in any kind of way. So that's how I see it. Of course, short term volatility, you're always going to see with these news events. But overall, I see no signs of the economy going to shit or anything that's going to pointing to kind of a top forming in risk assets. I'm bullish on risk assets into 2026. What are your thoughts on prediction markets? I think it'll be a strong meta, especially since a lot of it's incentivized through airdrop farming right now, and a lot of big deals are being given to influencers or big accounts, which I think is bullish is bullish. I think there's going to be a lot of sports bettors and stuff who move into prediction markets, And more people on chain is just, again, growing the pie in general. And I think sports betting and betting in general is just going to continue to get big. So I think I definitely wouldn't just put full port prediction markets. And, I think a lot of people are going to lose on the sports betting like they do, or just betting in general. But I think there's potential to airdrop farm and to create some uh, some potential opportunity profits, different stuff like that. And I mean, if it's something that you're already doing with sports betting and something you think you might have an edge in a tiny bit, or something that you're already doing, it might be something to look at. What percentage of your total portfolio do you use per trade? No more than 10%. What I like to do, and I was going to talk about this later on in the show actually, but I think you'll see me post a lot about a lot of coins, and it might look like, oh, this guy's shilling a lot of different coins sometimes, but it's really calculated for me. At all times, I have anywhere from like 15 to 20 coins at most that I'm holding. For me, I like to take that stance where, at least in my buy and hold coins, I have about 15 to 20 spread across memes and alts that I have. Again, so just that in general, I do like to do no more than 10% risk on any given trade or any given position. And that's really the sweet spot for me. But anywhere between 5 and I would say 20 at the very most coins and buying and holding, learning everything you can about those coins, and then holding into this next period. And again, that's not going to work for every different coin. A lot of times I'll have 10 positions, core positions, 7 or 8. Right now, there's just been a 5 to 7 2025 coins that I really do see the potential to grow from like the 5 to 10 mark to the 100 million, potentially billion plus mark, like the USDUCs, the salaries, potentially like the stakers, stuff like that, to where I have been more risk on than maybe other times, right? So I really like spreading between 5 to 20 coins. Again, not talking about the not talking about Bitcoin ETH Sol. I think I just have a different, portfolio for that. But yeah, I think kind of going the neutral route of not being all in on 2 or 3 coins, but not being diversified amongst 50 to 100. I think, right, I really like the 5 to 15 range of like spreading your risk amongst coins like that and then taking profits on the way up. What's the YouTube channel called? Just Bren Trades. What I've heard from several news reports is that dollar is going to go down and gold is going to go up. So you can also expect. Yeah, I do think the DXY looks like it has a good shot at moving lower. It's kind of been my base case too, especially if it breaks through this low. But also, I could see it being a move like this that's more choppy. But yeah, you're right. DXY moving down usually coincides with risk assets like stocks and crypto going up. So yeah, that'd be really bullish. Do you believe in adding margin in negative trades, or stop losses better? Depends what you're trading. When you're trading any type of leverage, you must have a stop loss and like a okay. How the fuck? Oh, are you commenting from my YouTube channel? The fuck did that? You do that? Interesting. Um, Interesting. Do you believe in adding margin and negative? So you got to have a stop loss and leverage trades, because exactly for the reason you're talking about, Sing, that it's so easy to get like caught up in it's so easy to get caught in leverage positions where like it could just destroy you, and you're going to keep justifying and adding to the negative. So I think the best way is just to have a stop loss, let it hit, and then reassess, so you're not caught in a negative margin situation. Do you think the AI meta will come back? Just depends what you mean by the AI meta. If you're talking about the like AI meme coins, like the AI agents and all that shit, I think it could go either way. I really don't have a strong opinion on it. I think that niche where the AI meta late last year was so short that I'm not sure that many, if any, of those coins really have like enough stickiness or communities built around them to really have them have a resurgence. But I think generally there probably will be a few, right? But I think the AI sector, where like they're building real AI tech with the TAOs more the AI infrastructure stuff, I think we'll do really well. You sended your link on YouTube. Aren't you already on YouTube, brother? Isn't that you on fucking commenting right here? But did we send a link? No. Definitely I'll put it in the comments of the thing in a second. What do you think when you hear any bad news about crypto? Do you sell in? But yeah, no, I don't. Again, I don't like to sell on news. Again, you just want to take profits on the way up before the negative news, or on the way up when times are good, so you don't have to sell on the way down. Squirtle, Sui, what's up, Squirtle? Squirt on Sui. But yeah, is anything popping happening in the last few hours? Shout out to Rev Run. He's been on the streams a few times. I think he's he is streaming on Pump.Fun. Definitely check him out. But yeah, the Pump.Fun. I've been on here more recently. Super interested into like see how a lot of these streams are. Somebody made a good point. I forgot who it was on Twitter that a lot of these streams used to be like super like weird shit. Like people would just be doing torturing themselves and shit. But now it looks a lot more like traditional streamers. People gaming, people just reviewing shit. So I don't know. Definitely seeing some changes in here. Is it gonna pop off and be the next, iteration of streaming? Are we gonna see big names come in? Who knows? But I think it's an interesting experiment, and I think generally tokenizing these streams and all that stuff. I don't know. It's up in the air long term, but I think there's going to be a wave, personally, in the short term. More popularity. You see, some of these guys have. Let's see how many viewers on this. 66 viewers, and it's just a screen of. I think this one, what they're doing is they're donating the volume or the fees from the stream to other live, like bigger live streamers, to kind of get their attention. It's just interesting. Let me know in the chat. Have you guys been fucking around with Pump.Fun streaming? Do you think, are you at all interested, or do you like streams more on YouTube, uh, TikTok? I'm sorry, yeah, TikTok or anywhere else. What's the new guy's name again? On YouTube, Gendar. Gendar is probably like, what the fuck is this tokenized streaming shit? But what is up, Jeremy? Good day for reviewing the crypto markets. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Would you also be streaming on Pump? I don't know. For now, like I've said, I'm looking at it. I think it's really interesting. I'm not hopping and hopping right to it. Is there a world where, just to have another place to stream on, we do pump, stream? It's possible. I'm not hopping right to it right now. Who knows what the future holds? But again, right now I'm just hanging out with you guys on Twitter, Instagram. I'm sorry, Twitter, YouTube. I don't think we're on TikTok today, but yeah, like I said, I really want to keep growing on Twitter regardless. But who knows? I think it's interesting. I think some of these guys are doing cool streams on Pump Fun, and I'm really really intrigued by the whole concept. And I'm really interested to see if it, all it would take is either one big name coming in, like a fucking, doesn't even have to be Aiden Ross, just like some kind of bigger streamer with tens of thousands of viewers to pop off the narrative, or one of these random streamers come in and go from 0 to 100 million. One of those two things happens. I mean, I think the whole thing's going to explode. But yeah, bro, I'm telling you, in 2 or 3 years, thanks to this and several other things I'm going to do and doing right now, I'll be a millionaire. In the next 15 years, I'm going to be shout out. Fuck yeah, bro. Just make again, just my 2 cents. I just make the learning like you're doing right now. The learning from streams, just experience from other people, your own experience, let that be the focus. And like, whether it's in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, like the results will come. Thoughts on Pepe by Matt Fury Coin on bags. Potential to surpass the original Pepe if he claims. How much impact does a claim by an original holder realistically have in this kind of situation? Amazing question. I haven't looked at the Pepe on bags. Is it this one? I'm assuming it's this one. So the Bags app is really interesting. Like, I think it's a really cool iteration of the whole thing, and I think there's a potential, that some coins could be launched that way, where celebrities, especially if sentiment and conditions are good around meme coins, that they activate their coin. I think the Matt Fury one is a really interesting case because I don't know who asked this question. I can only see your guys' at, so I can't see the names on there. But A1 Mister, if the Matt Fury case in particular is interesting because Matt in the past, I think they sent him a lot of Pepe, like the original Pepe, and I think he sold it, a lot of it before it took off above a billion. And Matt has been kind of critical from my understanding of the meme coin space and the IP meme coin space in general. So I don't know the chances of him claiming in general and then two him supporting it. But just in general, to answer your question, how much impact does a claim by an original creator realistically have in this kind of situation? I think if a creator fully embraced it, and especially if they connected it to some type of, their content, or, gave people access to something via the coin and kind of supported it, I think it really could the coin could pop off. And that's why I wouldn't count out the Bags app. With that being said, I think it's going to take market conditions being really good. Like, I think it's going to take, I don't think any of these celebrities are really going to accept the coin, especially the bigger ones, unless their fans are like really like open to crypto at all. Like right now, if people are just like, fuck crypto, look what happened to Aiden Ross with MLG and all this stuff. I think the branding around crypto is just not great. So I don't see a lot of the guys doing it right now. With that being said, all it takes is a few months of prices going up for that to change. So I could see the model actually seeing some of the coins doing it. And if it's a celebrity that's like, one, capable and is not completely washed up, and then two, whatever, I could see a big launch or a big pump coming off of one of these coins getting claimed. In fact, it's probably going to happen, I would think. Fuck yeah, Gendar. I'm glad you're able to find us, bro. Most on that stream are just rugging a coin. Yeah, no, for sure. I'm talking about the not every coin that's streaming, right? I'm talking about the coins that are attached to streamers actually creating content and streaming and stuff, like the Rasmers and the people who are really consistent. XUI is not great and not optimal. Yeah, it definitely isn't. Definitely not optimal for streaming. I assume, like most stuff, that they will optimize that over time, though. Do I have a Discord? Yeah, I think I'm at Bren Trades on Discord. More so Telegram and YouTube is where I'm at, though. YouTube, Telegram, and X is where I'm at. Yeah, that's where like the core community is on X and Telegram. How do you grow your network in crypto to meet others in the space? I think the biggest way is getting involved in meme coin and crypto communities that you resonate with. Joining telegrams. I think a big way for me and how I've made a ton of connections is by being a reply guy in an intelligent way, meaning some of these bigger accounts are just accounts that you want to network with, or or just in your niche or whatever. You reply genuine, funny, witty things to their posts. Um, you know, and not only will that get a lot more eyes on your posts, but there's a more of a uh, the law of reciprocity. If you comment on other people's stuff, they're more likely to see your stuff and then do the same. And then a ton of people who I've had mutual follows, I'll reach out and again shoot them a genuine compliment or whatever. And I made a ton of connections that way. A lot of people are going to be open to doing that, especially if you can share knowledge or any way, or just not even that. But yeah, that's just a genuine way. Is just by being cool with people and reply guying in a intelligent, non-robotic way is always good. What does an IP allow a meme coin to do? It allows it to produce, because like that's actually a fucking great question. Before I answer this question, if you guys could like, retweet, comment, bookmark the stream. We do these streams twice a week, Tuesdays, Fridays. Before this, we've gone on a bunch of shit today, actually. Talked about pump fund streaming and it potentially either, whether it's just a short-term fad or a long-term stuff. We talked about Bitcoin, a lot of other stuff. So definitely check that out. But yeah, the retweet, comment, follows, always appreciated. 808 asks, maybe a stupid question, but how does IP allow a meme coin to do? So it's a great question. From what I understand, there's nothing blocking people from creating a meme coin of another IP. If it's built on like an open source blockchain, all that different stuff, they're not raising money. With that being said, it say somebody owns an IP of a certain IP, and then you want to go and create a game around it, a merch, a platform, NFTs. NFTs, I don't know about NFTs. Might be the same as a coin, but create any type of merch that you're going to profit off of. If somebody else owns the intellectual property around that, they can sue you. So essentially, having the IP rights of something allows you to have full control to produce any type of medium you want, whether that be a fucking cartoon, a merch, anything that you're going to sell. Having the IP, buying the IP behind it allows them to have full control and to build in other mediums other than the meme coin, which I think is massive because, again, I've been huge on this. I think a lot of singular memes are going to go up. There's going to be a lot of meme coins that are about singular people and moments in time that go to 1 billion. But I think the coins that go to 5, 10 billion that are going to produce 10 to 100x gains from here are going to be the movement type of coins, that also the movement type coins that grow into things other than meme coins. And owning the whole IP allows these different meme coins to go and branch out and start a fucking cartoon or to build merch or all these different other things. So that's really cool. I think Troll actually just bought the IP of the Troll stuff. So what that's going to allow them to do is branch out and build other stuff, release other products, which obviously drives attention to the meme coin. So can you check out Jelly? Yeah, Zilla, I've seen that you've been really big on the jelly lately. To me, is this the jelly you're talking about? Did this one get PvP'd? No, this is the one, right? To me, jelly is a example of a singular meme. Obviously, peanut butter jelly time for people who are a little bit older. This meme was fucking massive. I don't know what this guy is. Is this like another part of the friend? Oh, it's the pump fun thing. I'm fucking tripping. It's the pump fun thing, but yeah. Anyway, for those of you who might be a little younger, I think it's still pretty popular. I'm sure you've probably seen it. The meme, like the peanut butter jelly time. This is an example of a singular meme that is just around one singular meme. If there's a community that grows around it and they're potentially own the IP, I'm not sure. I don't know about that, but I could see stuff like this go to the tens of millions, and not this particular coin. I'm just talking about singular memes in general. Could go to 10 million, 100 million, potentially a billion. But again, it's the movement coins that I think have real huge, big, huge ceilings. With that being said, I don't know too much about this coin and how involved. I don't know anything else about besides the chart, and this is the meme. So chart looks decently corrective, but again, you would have to tell me if you think the community is still involved. There's a real cool community around it. There's diamond-handed holders, all that good shit. But again, looks decent right here, but it has been consolidating for about 6 days. You want to see a break above all-time high. So genuinely, I would say if you believe in the other things other than the chart, like this is the time you want to be buying coins generally, for me at least. Brand, do you think believe 2026 will continue? Yeah, we talk about this a lot. I think there's a good chance we continue into 2026. How do I deal with failures currently? You just keep going and you learn from the failures. I've learned way more from what not to do than what to do, Just feeling lost, just keep going, bro. It's always going to be tough, dude. Nobody's winning right now. Very few people, outliers who are doing well on perps, who caught the ETH move, people who bought Pengu, USDUC, which everybody in the, again, fucking plug the in the the Telegram channel definitely took advantage of catching a lot of these runners while the rest of the market's kind of been shitty. The USDUCs, SPX, other coins like that. So check out the Telegram channel for more plays like that. But dude, very few people are winning right now. the market's been shitty. It's tough during these times, especially the boredom when you go from like this time last year, everything just being so much shit you can't even keep up with all the shit going on to just straight boredom essentially right now. It's tough, but again, I don't know how long you've been here. Just study what happens every time Bitcoin comes out of these corrections. It gets exciting again, right? So working out and listening to your stream, that's what's up. What are you working today? Today's my off day. I've worked out 3 days this week. I'm trying to get two more in, Saturday, Sunday. But yesterday I worked arms and some core. But yeah, dude, you guys out there right now, if you're like another huge thing, like from somebody who's been through 3 or 4 of these long ass cycles, is like use this opportunity right now to get your health right, like get your sleep in, get like fucking vitamined up, fucking work out, get your health in check now because it's really easy to lose yourself and like get burnout and your health to suffer, especially from stress. I've seen a lot of people mid bull market just completely burn out and make bad decisions when, just keep up with your health now, get rested up, get everything going now so that, you know, you have a lot of energy and focus and all that good shit going into this next period. I like doing sauna. Anybody in the chat like saunaing? Saunaing? Going in the sauna? Nice 15, 20 minutes in the sauna. Like, oh, we doing cardio, listening in. And what's your qualifications in studies? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Tips on researching teams/devs behind projects. Are you mainly scanning X as a starting point? Another good question, Archer. So no, some more for me, at least recently, I've been and the last couple of years recently, a lot of my big part of my portfolio is based around movement, meme coins, recently social currencies. So a lot of the analysis, besides the chart being in a corrective state, or at least a state that's not super impulsive to the downside, that's usually what I look at. I look at the chart, is even if it's down or sideways, is it looking corrective? Is it looking like there's still some buy pressure amongst the sell pressure? If a coin, for example, is down only for the last 3 days, down 90%, that's usually a good shot that the team is probably selling a lot and that it's not necessarily something I want to buy into. But if a coin is down 30 to 50% over a slower period or a longer period, for example, something like Jelly, for example, 3 or 4 days of downside versus just straight 2 or 3 candles. And then I like to look at if there's a bigger movement behind it where there's all these people can raid, but like if there's a strong community of people just like relentlessly raiding, but also you can kind of tell, like, I feel like there's a lot of, for me, a lot of it might be a gut feeling or kind of preference, but there's a lot of these movements out there which I'm really bullish on, where there's a bigger movement beyond the price. There's a lot of stuff that might be cheesy out there where I'm thinking, okay, I don't think this is really going to hit, this is kind of forced. But then there's stuff like USDUC where it's a movement coin that the movement's kind of based around being like, instead of stable coins, it's like an opposite kind of whatever play on it, unstable coins, to flip the stable coin market and to flip circle. Like there's funny, interesting content on there where I think normies and people will catch on to. Um, just a combination of all those different stuff into one. So I'll look at the chart, and then I really like community dynamics. And a huge one for me is, again, if the coin has already survived big corrections before, that tells me it usually has staying power and has a very high likelihood of recovering out of the most recent correction. Yeah, exactly. Sing, bro. You didn't tell me what you're working today, dude. You sauna every day. God damn. Kyle Samani to chair Solana DAT. Yeah, another DAT. I'm not sure exactly how that DAT is going to do specifically, but I think just we're in the early stages of a lot of DATs and treasury companies popping up, which I think is going to contribute to a big move up in Sol and ETH this year. So, I mean, it's just another sign of happen in Bitcoin, happen in Sol, or happen in ETH, it's happening in Sol. I think there'll probably even be meme coin DATs. And at that point, maybe things might be a little bit overheated, but what's good, Crypto Cowboy? Oh, seeing you work legs. That's what's up. What's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin's chopping up. Like I said, guys, if it breaks above this high, here, let me look. If it breaks above this high here, above this kind of consolidation since yesterday, very likely confirms the second shoulder of a inverse head and shoulders. And if it holds this low with when breaking higher, very likely that it accelerates here and moves higher. Again, we really want to see it break above 115, or it's always possible that it's just forming another high in the bigger corrective channel. And at that point, every time it makes another low in this channel, it gets closer to the eventual low. Like I said, most of the time, these corrective channels, 2 to 4 lows. The last few corrective channels we've gotten have only given us 1 or 2 lows. So, yeah, I think we could take off here. Possibility that it gives us one more final low. But again, that would just be another opportunity to add before I think is an inevitable move higher for Bitcoin. And I think this time, again, good shot that Bitcoin doesn't stop after 3 months. And even if it gives us a 6 month run like we got in 2024, you can imagine what that means for memes, alts, AI, especially if we get an influx of new capital coming in. I think there's a really strong case to be made that we could be looking at the strongest period that we've seen at least since 2022 coming up for the memes and alts. Meditation does it for me. I used to do a lot of meditation when I was younger. I'm only 30, but when I was like early 20s, I would sit down, not any like gnarly meditations, really just sitting in silence, um, which definitely felt an effect on kind of clarity, mental kind of clarity and less stress and stuff. But I don't know. It's probably something I should. YouTube voice quality seems higher, or am I tweaking? That's very possible. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Let me know. Yeah, I don't know. I'll definitely look at that after the stream. Yeah, I'll do some research. I would assume maybe YouTube has higher quality, whatever it may be. Is it bad on X? You still like is it a lot different, Adita? Let me know. Let's go ahead and look at some of these comments. Does the thesis on Trench Grinder, I don't know if you're in here. Shout out to you. He asked, does the thesis on Giga and Mog apply to Harambe? That's a funny, it's a good one. Let's go ahead and look at Harambe. Harambe, I'm still have a lot of Harambe that I bought, around this area and kind of where we're at right now. Harambe, what it does have going for it chart wise, has been consolidating for 6 months. Obviously, had a huge fall from grace price wise, down more like 95%. A lot of coins are in this position. I think it's similar to FOG, where, of course, this is kind of its first 90% correction. So 90% plus correction. So it's dicey in a lot of people's eyes, but I still think Harambe in a period, especially where if normies do come, like make an interest into crypto, Harambe being one of the most famous, well beloved memes and just fucking figures of all time. We all love Harambe, right? Just fucking rest in peace, Harambe. But I think there's a shot with good conditions, all that Harambe makes a run back. Again, do I have as much conviction in Harambe going to a fucking $1 billion or $100 million as like an SPX or a Giga or all that? No. But again, especially if it's able to hold this low, I think there's a really good shot that are good case to be made that throwing a bit here at Harambe, risk to reward wise, might be a good idea. So it's kind of, I think if I'm leaning towards Harambe at least having a big bounce back here. The big joke back in the day is that Harambe whenever it would run, it would get farmed or like people would be selling it off. Who knows? I don't know if the team, if that's what went down or what it is. But again, I think the Harambe that's been around for almost 2 years now in a period where normies kind of play around in meme coins, I think there's a potential for a big resurgence. Yoga and Asians work for me with good workouts. It's so good. What do you think of Shiba and Doge? I think Shiba and Doge are going to have a a big resurgence, especially Doge. Yeah, I think Lofi's probably has a big bounce back. I think a few of the main runners on each chain usually have a big bounce. Thanks, crypto cowboy. I'm doing well, Wonka. How you doing? Let's see some good news. Let's run it up. I'll never fade you, Quan. No, I will in a second. Just a newbie in crypto. Joined solely because of the giveaway, but honestly, I'm finding the space in TA really helpful. Shout out to you. Thanks, Austin. Market is doing snake movement. I'm liking this. Yup. Yup. What the fuck's going on the last few hours, though? Shout out to all the viewers on YouTube. We're getting some new viewers on there today. Shout out to you guys. Let me know if you are on YouTube right now. Are you trading crypto already? You a meme coin trader? You more like our guy? Excuse me, our homie, other homie from YouTube. Um, sorry, I don't want to forget this guy's name. Gendar. Are you more of a stock trader like Gendar? What you been dabbling in? Check out Jail. Yeah, I'll check out Jail. What do you think about Kaida? I think Kaida was looking at it a few days ago. Generally, like during these periods, I think we're about to enter. Most of the L1s are going to run, but not one of my top L1s that I've been buying or where I've been following too much. But I think Kaida probably has a run. Where's your friend with whom you? Oh, for Loco, he's not on today. I think he's traveling. He comes on sometimes, like a couple times a week or once a week sometimes. I think he maybe on Tuesday. But I'm gonna try something different as well. I forgot to do this at the top of the show, but since we're just hanging out, I'll probably stay on for another 15, 30 minutes. But if you guys we do this in the VC stream on the Telegram. It makes it hard here on X to obviously can't really bring people on directly through X. But if somebody wants to come up and ask a live question here through audio, we're not going to bring up video or anything. Right? Let me know in the chat, and I'll have my producer send you a link. You can come ask the question through voice. We chop it up for a second. Let me know. Want to try something new? So let me know in the chat if you want to do that. Yeah, I had to switch from X to YouTube. Stream is better on YouTube. I'm out from Bossman's Telegram channel. Oh, that's what's up. Yeah, whatever is easier for you. All the comments, it's pretty cool. This EV Mux app that we use, all of the comments kind of come in through one feed so I can see everybody's stuff. How did you meet Bossman and where do you guys live? Bossman and I met through Twitter. He had originally started the channel in, I think, mid 2023, had 200 or 300 members. Him and I had met, and he asked me to come join up with them and kind of take ownership and join up with them and post on there. And then kind of, I think we hit like some really good timing with meme coins blowing up, and then just kind of both of our styles contrasting and all that good stuff to where we grew from that 300 members to like where we're at now, 40,000 in the last year and a half. It's been a fucking amazing journey. Met so many great people like all you guys throughout the world that got introduced to connections that led me to meeting people I'd never fucking imagine. So yeah, Bossman and I met online. Him and I actually recently got the chance to meet in person. We're on opposite sides of the world. I'm in the United States. As you can probably tell from his accent, he's uh, originally based in the UK, but he's on another place in the world right now. So it was really cool to meet in person, and we got to hang out kind of near where I'm at in Southern California. Then we went to Las Vegas, and really cool to meet him. But yeah, to answer your question, Boss and I met online on Twitter. So somebody who asked about networking and all that good shit little bit ago. You can meet your future business partner or whoever literally just from posting content and just networking. Being a reply guy in a smart way. I should stream on Twitch and Kick. Yeah, we're working on that right now to get all that. We've been, like I said, opened it up to YouTube and TikTok. Sometimes recently, we're gonna expand all the platforms in time. Yes, sir. Black and white. Mm. But quiet time. Deploying tokens is. But I didn't really hear from the chat. Like, I want to know from a few of you guys. Like, are Pump Fun streams like something you even are interested in watching? And if so, are you actively buying the token to support your favorite creators? Like, I just want to know what people's like thoughts are in general from you guys who consume streams all the time. I know what it's like from somebody who does streams and just my overall thoughts, but like I want to know from people who are like big stream consumers. Like, is like the thought of like the pump fund stuff cool to you? Do you think it's repulsive? Do you think it's something that you'd do or already do? I want to know. Pump is trading like it shouldn't be 1/15 the price of Hyperliquid. Yeah, I really like Pump Fun here. Pump token. Cards is up. Yeah. Okay. So we'll talk about. I want to talk about this cards coin too, right? And kind of just the overall craze about Pokemon and just cards in general. Like it's kind of been popping off the last few days. It's exciting. Wow. Shout out to anybody who caught this either down here. Everybody who caught it either down here or on any of these pullbacks. This has made a fucking amazing, huge run. It's interesting to see a lot of the people hopping on the Pokemon to hop on like the Pokemon kind of wave most recently, as Pokemon cards have been kind of up only for a couple years. Obviously, there's a big crossover between digital collectible or crypto and collecting Pokemon cards, just amongst the people. To me, I think this is just it's just evidence of how collecting in general is just becoming massive. Like Gary V, who's obviously been huge in the collecting world, a huge proponent of sports card collecting and all this stuff for years, even before VFriends, like his IP. He sees collecting getting up there with sports and music, and we're already starting to see it happen. Labubu, for example, like that was the biggest craze, and it's still pretty big, right? And that's just people collecting and trying to essentially gamble and collect and to try to pull a rare one, right? And I think that you know that um that trend in general is just going to continue to happen. People are going to continue to collect things. Pokemon cards, I think in general, the IP is going to continue to go up. The rare shit will probably continue to go up over time. But I think what this points to for me is I think this is a bottom signal for NFTs. I think it's a bottom signal for a few reasons. I think crypto Twitter, like, you'll hear me say this all the time. Crypto Twitter the sentiment behind it tends to not always be a sign of local tops, but where the attention flows, usually when crypto Twitter really gets big on something, usually the not the top's close, but it gets overheated pretty quickly. You typically want to be in position before crypto Twitter it's like the main meta. With that being said, I think Pokemon's going to continue to go up, but I think this is a perfect bottom signal for NFTs and just a sign that collecting is only going to get bigger as a genre. And I think NFTs are just the next evolution and kind of the not final form, but like just the next evolution of collecting, because physical cards are great, right? I think sports cards, everybody has loves something that they can hold on to physically. But in a world where everything's going to become more digital, where everybody's probably going to be in fucking VR or AR eventually, having like a digital collectible is going to become more common and more commonplace. And the difference is between NFTs and cards is NFTs have the potential to have programmable utility, where if you buy that NFT 2 or 3 years from now, that founder could go back and drop something in your wallet, whether it be a fucking coin, something as big as a coin, or something as small as a discount or a gift or another digital collectible years on end. And you can't do that with a Pokemon card, but you could do it with like a Pokemon NFT or whatever it may be, right? So I think right now, Pokemon cards probably continue to do well. I'm bullish on collecting in general, but I think if anything, I would start to pay attention to just the FAD in general. And I think a lot of these same people who are super bullish on Pokemon cards, whether it be next year, 2, 3, 4 years from now, there's going to be a wave of this huge wave of collecting NFTs as well. And I think there's a good shot it happens next year. I think all it would take is a big famous person, a big artist, a big something to drop an NFT collection, to really just like revamp NFT, especially with the laws in place or getting in place now, for it to just be a huge NFT wave similar to what we're seeing in Pokemon now. So that's kind of what I'm positioning for. And I think the IPs that are like have great operators, but also look most like Pokemon with actual characters and stories and stuff being told, I think are going to fucking thrive in the next few years. And that's why I really like VFriends personally. But let's see. How do I see the index of Pokemon? Pokemon price guides. Where is this? Card ladder. I think this is one of them. Indexes. There we go. Pokemon. Where's the Pokemon one? Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, there. So you can see the Pokemon index this year. Oh, this is the last 3 months. Oh, boo. Boo. We could just see the last 3 months, though. It's been essentially the index, which measures like the average of the biggest cards, I assume, is up 20, almost 20%, 15, 20%. So crazy. Market's been up. I think the crypto community is probably going to provide a lot of exit liquidity for a lot of these guys have been collecting for a long time. But with that being said, that doesn't mean Pokemon doesn't keep ripping. I just think NFTs for position for the next few years, some amazing opportunities. And I think we're going to see great NFTs rip in a way that Pokemon and a lot of these other ones are right now. Eventually. Yo, what's up, G? DGen Drewski says, yo, what's up, G? How long did it take for you to get where you are today, as in followers wise? And when did you and how did you guys grow your Telegram so large? It's a great question. Shout out to you, DGen Drewski. I know you've been growing your TG. There's a few tips that I gave you through DMs. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up. Generally, how long did it take you to get where you are? I joined crypto Twitter. Like we were talking last week, I was actually trading crypto for the first few years on Facebook from like 2016 to 2018, which is nuts. And then didn't get on crypto. And then I was doing a lot of stuff on YouTube, just kind of learning a lot of my own, until like 2021, I got on crypto Twitter. And from 2021 to like really end of 2022, really wasn't doing a lot of networking, was just really on there to learn as much as I could. And then I kind of took the networking side more seriously at the beginning of like 2023. So I want to say beginning of 23, I think I probably had 500 followers. And then from like 23 to 24 grew to maybe 7 or 8K. And then my Twitter actually got suspended up for like 8 months. Not suspended, I'm sorry. I lost access to it. Essentially, it locked me out, and then was having trouble getting access to change the password, and it was just this long debacle. So my Twitter from June through January of this year was actually not usable. So I was just on the Telegram, just grinding in there, posting every day in there. And then, which is kind of annoying in hindsight, because obviously the most growth in Twitter, like the Twitter, YouTube videos, views, all are usually correspond or kind of correlated to the prices of Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, and meme coins. So obviously, Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, everything ripped from that time. I didn't have my Twitter, but blessed to be back. So really went from like 500 to where I'm at, 18K followers, whatever, in the last year and a half. But again, a lot of it was just posting my content, a lot of the chart stuff, double down during NFTs, kind of double down on posting the charts and the crypto side, and then did a lot of that reply guy stuff in a strategic manner. And that's kind of a combination of that. Really, it takes time to build follower account. Follower account's kind of like a lagging indicator, and it kind of like takes time. But like for example, this guy Leo Lanza posts the most fucking Chad takes, just Chad videos, like just amazing content on Ethereum, just these in-depth videos every day, just getting crazy engagement, and he's still barely getting over like to 10K followers. Like it takes time to like build following. So just every day posting your content and connecting and just being posting genuine comments, witty things, and people DMing, making connections that way. And then some quick things how to grow the Telegram is people are looking for guidance, right? I think most of these Telegram channels, they're just posting calls and all that. I'm not saying fake it before you make it. Like you definitely want to be true to yourself and actually like post stuff that, you know, is your truth. Don't pretend to be something you're not or whatever. That's not what I'm saying, but you want to provide guidance to people, any type of like tips and tricks, like talking about different experiences that have helped you, being more than just a quote unquote caller where you just post a fucking contract addresses and just troll posts and whatever. Sharing experiences, any guidance, any tips and tricks, any stuff that you've helped you will set yourself apart from most of these guys. Also, I told you this earlier, leaving the comment section open. There's definitely a lot of scammers in the comments, but people also want to have a place where they can network with other people, can ask questions, can kind of chop it up with you in the comments. That's also a different thing that will differentiate yourself. A lot of 90% of these channels, it seems like they're scared or just preferred not to have the comments open. But I find that very I'll always keep the comments open on ours because of the value I think it brings a lot of the channel. So yeah, just stuff like that and just being consistent, man. Don't just, don't do the thing that everybody else is doing. Kind of be yourself, kind of give tips and tricks on stuff that's helped you other than just posting a contract address, stuff like that. I think a lot of what Bossman and I, which kind of perfect timing, with the Telegram stuff being pretty new with crypto, as well as both of our styles, like it kind of just all worked, kind of the perfect combination of stuff. But with that being said, just all of that, and then just staying consistent, bro. Like a lot of these Telegram guys, I'm sure you guys have seen, like post a lot when stuff's hot and then just kind of disappear for a couple weeks, right? And I get it. Like there's not a lot to post about sometimes, but just be consistent, I would say, is another one. Yeah, Bossman has his videos that we posted on Instagram and stuff that has his voice in it. I used to gamble, but now I hold and sleep. Yep. Is a choppy or dump weekend better? Because I mean, I don't know. I don't. Some people think there's like a huge correlation between the market opening red and then what it does by the end of the week. I mean, yeah. I mean, a lot of times, if something opens up just straight green, the chances that it's going to continue up all week, I guess, necessarily aren't as good as if it just consolidated into the beginning of the week. But I don't pay too much attention to it. It's different on a case to case basis, right? Sometimes the weekend will open fucking green and then it just continues up, or sometimes it opens green and then goes down, right? I don't really pay too much attention to that, the day to day shit. Yeah, that's him. Navigating pump streams just feels a bit clunky. I'd spend more time exploring it more if it had better filtering and ways to explore creators. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, no, it definitely is more clunky and the UI is not as good. I kind of like streaming in a place where people are already like chilling too. Um, but the Kong's airdrop, I don't know. I think they're doing cool stuff by like giving it out to other communities and stuff, but I don't know enough to really give an opinion on it. I know the Kongs are one of the few NFTs that have stuck around, and I think are probably gonna continue to thrive in the next NFT bull. Most of these other projects have just died out. No, I don't promote any gambling sites personally. What's up, Bomp Bamp? Do you trade setups or lev or only spot? Mostly spot. Again, my core, mostly spot, but I do swing trade leverage positions. I do swing trade like low leverage, like 5 to 7x on ETH. For example, I've had an ETH long open with an average price of around like low 2000s that I was accumulating all of kind of at the end of this correction here. And then on the way up, more of a swing trader when it comes to the leverage. But yeah, mostly spot, but I definitely have swing trade with low to mid leverage on ETH, Bitcoin, Sol. But I don't leverage trade meme coins at all. But yeah, guys, seems pretty fucking quiet on the timeline. Usually this is how it goes. Usually at the end of these corrections, it's usually the darkest and the quietest before the dawn. Let me know what you guys think about this. Ash is talking about how a lot of people are deploying coins and how it's kind of the meta to like deploy the coins because of the fees. It's an interesting thing. Again, I'm not really trading the low cap stuff, but I always like to keep up with what these guys are doing and keep pay attention to these side of the world because I know a lot of you guys do fuck with this style of trading. Um, and it's interesting to see a lot of these guys hit on like crazy wins and a lot of these stories from like zero to hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. Definitely fucking fascinating.
Are you spending, would you say, over the next few years?
Oh gosh. I mean, I think it's probably going to be something like, I don't know, at least $600 billion through 28 in the U.S. Yeah.
It's a lot.
No, it's significant.
It's a lot.
Any of you guys played this Pudgy Party game? Pretty fucking fun. Another big fucking move by Pudgy Penguins. Uh, pump. Soul Strategies becomes first Solana treasury company. How many hours do you sleep from past months? 7 hours. Yeah, 7 to 8 hours are I try to stick to, but not always easy. Respect for not promoting gambling. Yeah. Again, I mean, a lot of the biggest streamers in the world do it, right? It's kind of the business model. It's just personal preference. Just not my thing. Been stacking skins. What fucking Kong's airdrop. Okay, gotcha. Do you have a Cyber Kong's faceless or what? How do we get quiet times?
Thousands of people every single day are capitalizing on these posts, and you're still missing out. You still don't understand why people post them, because it's the easiest way to connect with real builders, KOLs, and projects here on crypto Twitter. You have Tron Blockchain, you have Phantom, you have Binance, you have tier 1 builders like Gary Vee, Adity, Bloodweb 3 even. Everyone is fucking grinding the GMs. Stop being a fucking pussy. Let your pride fucking not take control for once and start posting, can I get a good morning, every single day at 12 a.m. Eastern time. It is literally the easiest way to network with people. That one person that says GM can then turn into a follow. Once they turn into a follow, they can turn into a potential consumer of your content, or even a client if you're offering services. They can go ahead and be a potential buyer of a project that you're pushing, of something that you're selling. Lock in, bro. You guys have to understand the bigger picture. Stop being fucking dorks, for those of you that are against it. Stop being a fucking dork and fucking get on GM Alg Twitter.
I fuck with this ape guy. This guy has fucking crazy energy. He makes like 2 of these videos a day. It's fucking nuts. But I genuinely agree with that. Like, I don't know about the GM post necessarily, like only that, but just like I said, just doing networking and like reply guying in general. And it's not a coincidence that even like people like Gary Vee, who are kind of like the fucking godfather of social media, does like the GM good morning shit. So been stacking skins. Oh, and Pudgy. Yeah, man. It's really fucking interesting. It's like a Web 2 game that I think people would find fun. And then you can also combine different skins to mint an NFT, which is nuts. Yeah, exactly. Oh, check jail. Yeah, I'll check jail for you, bro. Horny jail. Is this it? Horny jail. Wasn't I feel like there was a meme who did this not too long ago. Maybe this is it. Yeah, from May. That's probably the one I already saw. Overall, like this chart looks very nice, nicely corrective, right? Like it has these clear bounces and lows and then consolidation for a whole month. I don't know anything about this specific coin, like as far as like if the community's still active, if you feel like there's a real movement behind it. If all that other stuff is in place, then this chart looks great. Like again, it just has this clear corrective structure. But again, if the dev rugs his shit tomorrow, it could go down. Like I don't know anything of the rest of the stuff. Chart wise, it has all the signs for a resurgence. And it is down what, like 80%. Not terrible. I think I could see this bouncing back because of how nice this corrective setup is on the higher time frames. What is Pump Funds Project Ascend all about? Um, yeah, I don't know. If this is what you're talking about, then not enough information, especially only at 58K. You know Zeus coin that happened to that coin, so it's dead as hell, yeah. But yeah, I'm probably going to call it here in a bit. I just wanted to, let's see, hold on. Sorry, I was just reading something. But yeah, I think I'm going to call it. Be back on Tuesday at 11 a.m. PST. Let's see. But yeah, 11 a.m. PST. Definitely check out the Telegram channel. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next stream. Again, quiet times, but just want to continue to chop away at the streams. Everybody who's stuck around. Again, I say this every stream, but the biggest breakthroughs have come after quiet periods when I didn't, you know, go away, and why I kept pushing and learning and all that good shit. So I'm just fucking stoked to see how this group does. The people in the chat, the regulars, the black and whites, the Carls, the Richie Flames, the 808s, the Misfit Hunters, the Space Faceless, Ms. D, Singh, Bompu, Gendar, our new homie from YouTube, uh, everybody, D June, Adita, Ditia, how could I forget you? Djen, Drewski, everybody. I'm excited to see where everybody's at from strictly just sticking around and buying and holding good shit during this time. Yeah, it's definitely not easy during this time. It's like night and day. Even myself, who's lived through so these different corrections, it's like the energy and like the boredom and shit's like palpable. It's not easy at times versus the easy mode that eventually usually does happen. But it's just about being prepared and being invested before all that happens. And yeah, so shout out to everybody who has been here. And I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Check out Boss Man Call's Telegram channel and everything. Follow everybody else in the chat as well. If you guys are looking again to meet other people, definitely um, be don't be afraid to reach out to each other people in the chat again, people with similar interests as you. You know, for now we don't have a community or anything where, you know, whatever, but these streams I like to have as a place where not only we can learn and hang out, but other people can, you know, you can meet other trading partners or whatever too. So shout out to everybody here. Thanks, boss man. Yeah. GG's Bren. Always here to support you. Shout out to Richie. Shout out to Singh. Everybody have a great rest of your day. And I will see you on Tuesday. Love.